If you're a BCBA who's been feeling stuck, unfulfilled, or wondering what else is out there, you just found your new favorite podcast. This is No Broke Behavior Analyst, and I'm your host, Sarah Burby. I'm a BCBA, board certified health coach, certified intuitive eating counselor, 7-figure business owner, speaker, mentor, and most importantly, your biggest hype girl. You already know you can use ABA outside of autism, but nobody ever told you how. Well, at least not until now. I love taking the science you already know and showing you how to turn it into consulting, coaching, courses, corporate training, and income streams that don't require a single session note. Every week, we're talking money, business, mindset, and all the ways your skills can take you places the field never told you existed. Ready to build a life you're obsessed with? Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to No Broke Behavior Analyst. This episode is for you if you are wanting to start a business, or maybe you currently have a business, but you are just feeling super overwhelmed with where to start first, because this happens all the time. I would say this is one of the top 3 subjects that comes up in clinicians doing more is like, I want to do X, Y, or Z. I just don't know where to start. And so at the end of this episode, you will have some clear action steps on what to do and when. And here's the thing. I know right now you have a lot of shoulds going on in your brain. I should start my website. I should do content for social media. I should work on my branding. I should work on niching down. I should work on reaching out for a different partnership. All the shoulds. So the first thing I want you to do is write down all the shoulds that you have in your brain right now. And then if you're in that kind of like analysis paralysis and asking yourself, okay, here's a long list of things that I should do. Where do I start? I want you to remind yourself that all those things are just tasks. Okay. All of those things feel urgent. It feels like you need to do all of those things all at once. And that feels very, very overwhelming, which is why you're not doing anything. So what we're going to do is make a list of the top 3 to 5 things that you should be doing so that you have a clear roadmap and you are not feeling so overwhelmed. And the reason that you're feeling overwhelmed is, number 1, you probably have too many ideas going on in your brain and you're not sure which one to run with, which one to start with. Maybe you don't know what to do first, like we just talked about. You're hearing from all these different people, different podcasts, different trainings, different master classes that you're going to, and you're hearing from all different people, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And then you're just having information overload. So you're not really sure what to do. And the last thing is that you're thinking that you should be farther along because you are comparing yourself to other people that you see on social media, other business owners, maybe people that started when you started, maybe people that started after you started. And by now, you know, everything that you see on social media is curated anyway. So stop comparing yourself to other people. I know it's easier said than done, but those are probably the 3 reasons that you are feeling overwhelmed right now. Too many ideas in your brain, feeling like you are behind, or having information overload. And I am so guilty of this when I first started my business. And I know you probably are too. I think that's something that a lot of behavior analysts or RBTs can relate to, of just wanting to consume all of the information out there, consuming every podcast, every book, every free class. I used to do that too. And the best advice that my mentor gave me at that time was like, Sarah, I want you to take a week where you are not consuming any information. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that feels so hard for me, because it was almost like a coping mechanism where if I could consume more and consume more and consume more, I felt like I was doing something, even though it wasn't actually pushing me forward in the business. It was kind of like that safety net of like, well, I'm doing something for the business. I'm learning and I'm growing. And that's true to an extent. And at some point you have to rip the Band-Aid off and you just have to do, right? So for me, it was a coping mechanism. The other thing is there is so much out there that is kind of contradicting each other. There's so much information out there that contradicts each other. And so we can get really overwhelmed with what to do. Everybody out there has the best strategy, the best framework, the thing to get you this, and this. And maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I haven't watched every single master class out there, every single training out there. But my recommendation is to, and this is going to sound like a little cultish, so I don't mean it to sound like that, but stick with one person, right? I'm not even saying stick with me, stick with clinicians doing more, but just try to stick with one person, because if you are getting all this different information from all these different people, you're going to feel really stressed out and feel really overwhelmed, because one person's going to tell you to prioritize this, one person's going to tell you to prioritize that. And I've said it before, the basics of business isn't that complicated. I promise you it's not that complicated. And when I talk about it being pretty simple, I don't mean that in a condescending way, but what happens is we're hearing all this noise and all this information from all these different people. And so that we get caught up in like, oh, I'm not doing it this way. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And then we go into that paralysis where we're not doing anything. So we're going to stop that today, and we're going to have a clear action step of what you should actually be doing. And so when you feel overwhelmed, you are probably having the tendency to do more and do more and do more. And then what happens is you start one thing and then you stop, and then you start another thing and then you stop, and you start another thing and you stop. So you end up having like 10 different tasks open where you do each one of those things like 10%, and then you feel even more stressed because nothing is actually done. And so here is the hack here. When you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to stop doing more and start doing less with more intention. That is the key here. I would so much rather you do one thing, one tiny thing with so much intention than focus on doing all of these different things with very little intention. I guarantee you are going to 10x the results if you learn how to do that, if you get in the practice of doing that. And so many of you, I know, trust me, I know, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of BCBAs that are transitioning into entrepreneurship. You want to start with the things that are fun. Branding is fun. Picking out your colors and your font is fun. For some people, designing your website is fun. Do you know why those things are fun? Because you get immediate gratification. You put in the work and you see the beautiful results of your labor. You get to see a post or a website or branding and making stickers and all the things. That is not where you want to start. I know everybody wants to start there because it's fun and you get immediate reinforcement for the fruits of your labor, but that is not where you are going to start. And you probably know what I'm going to say. You're going to start with figuring out what specific problem you are solving. If you do not have the answer to that, don't do anything else. That's what you're going to focus on with more intention. What specific problem are you solving? I've talked about this in another episode. So if you're not sure about that, go back and listen to that episode and get really clear on what problem you're solving. Once you have that down, you're going to figure out who you are solving it for. Who is that client avatar? What does their day look like? What is their age range? What are their hobbies? So you're going to figure out what problem you're solving, and then you're going to figure out who you're solving it for. That's what you're prioritizing. If you're feeling overwhelmed, can you answer those two questions? And if you can't, you're going to go back to the drawing board until you can answer those things with confidence. Once you have that down, then you're going to figure out what it is that you offer. So are you offering one-to-one coaching? Are you offering a on-demand training? Are you offering group coaching? Are you offering a digital download? Whatever it is, that can be a whole nother podcast episode too, is how to figure out what you're offering. But that's what I want you to think about. What is your one offer? And I highly, highly encourage you to figure out one offer, get it really crystal clear, get proof that people actually want it, aka people are buying that offer, and just sell that one offer first. So you can spend all your time and energy marketing that one offer. Once that one offer is selling, you could sell it in your sleep, then figure out another offer if you want to do that. But I know that a lot of you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different offers going on at the same time, and you're trying to sell all of those things at the same time, and then you're not selling anything because, again, think about intention. Think about where your energy is going. If your energy is going to trying to sell this and this and this and this, you're not giving 100% of your attention to any of those offers, and you're going to miss things. You're going to miss how potential clients are responding to your marketing messaging for this client. You're going to miss an opportunity to email market to this client. So please think about one specific offer, even if it's one-to-one coaching. Maybe you just offer one-to-one coaching for 4 months. That's the offer. People take it or leave it. And I can guarantee if you get really confident in your offer, you are going to find it much easier to sell than try to give people the option of, you could do 4 months, you could do 3 months, you could do 6 months, you could do weekly, you could do biweekly. No, It's just one option. That's what I did for our supervision program. And in the beginning, do you know how tempting it was? We did the minimum number of hours you could do with us is 4 hours a month of supervision, 80 hours that they could accrue for their practicum hours. And in the beginning, people would ask me, oh, I can't afford it. Can I do 40 hours? Can I do 50 hours? And everything inside of me wanted to say yes and wanted me to modify my offer to better fit what they wanted. But I learned to stick to what my heart was telling me, stick to one offer. And then after a month or two, people even just stopped asking. It was like, hey, these are the packages you could choose from this, this, and this. If that is not something that is doable for you, that's okay. And then they would find another supervisor, right? And the people that came to our supervision program were ready to put the work in. They are committed. They are all our ideal clients. And that is by design. That is through intention. So think about, what is your one specific offer that you are designing with intention that you could sell in your sleep? And if you don't have that yet, you're not going to worry about anything else. I don't care what other podcast is telling you. I don't care what social media influencer is telling you. Do you have a problem that you're solving? Do you know it's who you're solving it for? Do you have your offer? Okay. We are doing all of those things before we're worrying about branding, before we're worrying about website, before we're worrying about lead magnets and master classes. This is a specific order that I want you to go in and check off to make sure that you have all of these things really fluent. The girls and clinicians doing more are probably sick of me saying this, right? But I will ask them, but who's this for? Who's this for? What's your offer? Sometimes it'll take 3-6 months to figure that out, and that's okay. That's okay. You're just putting it out there. You're trying it. You're getting feedback. You're tweaking it, and you're changing it. And no, I can promise you, if you do not have these things honed in on, you're going to waste time and energy. It's just not worth it. Do these boring steps first. It's going to make you a ton of money on the back end. Okay. And then you're going to think about, how are you talking about your offer and your service? AKA, how are you selling it? Are you able to explain the transformation that somebody gets from working with you in whatever capacity that is? Another problem that I see BCBAs make all the time is we talk about all of the things that are included. Oh, you get one-to-one coaching, you get this ebook, you get X, Y, or Z. Nobody cares. Are you able to fluently talk about your offer and service where the transformation that someone gets from working with you is crystal clear? If you can't answer the question, why should I work with you, in 1 to 2 sentences without thinking twice about it, go back to the drawing board. And that's okay, right? These things are not going to come to us quickly. That's okay. You have to just keep thinking, keep talking to people that have the problem that you want to solve, and figure out how you can talk about the transformation very, very clearly, so that when someone comes to your page, your website, whatever it is an obvious yes. You've already done all the selling on the back end. You have to make it an obvious yes in the way that you talk about your service. And so, number one, are you crystal clear on the problem that you are solving? You do not need to have your whole business plan today, but you do need to know that before you move on to anything else. So are you crystal clear on which problem that you're solving? That is it. And the more clearly that you could talk about the problem, the less fancy, the less vague that you can make it, the more money you are going to make. So can you clearly talk about the problem that you are solving for your clients? Number two, are you crystal clear on who it is for? And I know that you're thinking that you want to help everybody. I know niching down is a big fear for a lot of business owners, but I want you to think about this. Even if you are, say, you want to work with high achieving perfectionists, women that are really, really good at their job, they're perfectionists, they're overwhelmed, they're stressed, right? I'm going to tell you why that's not niche down enough, because the way that you would market that to someone that is 30 years old versus somebody that is 60 years old, somebody that has multiple kids versus somebody that is single, somebody that works as a lawyer versus somebody that works as a teacher. Do you see how drastically different the marketing messaging would be for those two different client profiles? The same exact problem that you'd be solving, but the marketing messaging is wildly different. And so that's why I'm so pushy with love for you to get really clear and niche down, because if you don't, you're going to end up way too broad. And if you're too broad, someone's going to say, on to the next one. I'm going to go to somebody that is specifically talking to me. Okay. And it's not to say that you can't change your mind. It's not to say that you have to work with that person, that specific ideal client forever. You can change your mind. You can change your marketing messaging. But if you are not crystal clear in the beginning, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to think that your business idea stinks and you're going to think you're not meant out for this career, for entrepreneurship. But it's just that you're not clear enough on that specific niche. And I'm telling you, when you do that, everything else is going to be so much easier. Step 3, stop trying to build everything at one time. One offer, crystal clear on the offer, the audience, then you can start building out your platform. You can start building out your lead magnet. You can start growing your email list. But until you have the offer, it's going to be very, very hard to do all those other things, or you can do all those other things, but you're just going to be doing work for no reason because you're not going to be attracting the client that you want to attract. And a lot of times when you are feeling overwhelmed, you are probably like, what can I do? I don't want to be wasting my time. And I understand that, but I want you to challenge you to reframe that a little bit of when you work on all different things at one time, that is actually how you're wasting your time. If you are intentional about doing one specific thing, about getting crystal clear on your problem, getting crystal clear on your offer, that is using your time intentionally. You are not going to waste your time when you do that. You're going to waste your time when you try to do all the things at once and don't actually accomplish anything. Moving slowly and doing things with intention is much, much better than trying to move quickly and do all these different things at one time. Then you're going to pick a number of minutes or hours that you can dedicate each day, each week to moving the business forward. And that's where the consistency comes in. Consistency does not mean that you are giving the same amount of effort every day, because that is not realistic. There's going to be some days that you're more tired than others. Some days things are going to come up with your family and maybe you can't do as much, but you have to be willing to be consistent and do a little bit each day. And that is a commitment that you have to make to yourself. I can give you all of this knowledge. I can give you all of my ideas and all my suggestions, but how committed are you to doing it when you are tired, when you're exhausted, when you're frustrated, when you feel like you're not getting anywhere? Because that is the exact time that it matters the most to stay consistent. Okay. You have to be able to do things even when you're not seeing that immediate result, and knowing that each thing that you do is building on the next so that you can eventually put your offer out there. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling stressed, if you're like, I don't know what to do, I think that you probably do know what to do. I think you probably do know what to start with. It's just the thought in your mind of like, I should be doing all these other things, right? For whatever reason, pressure from other people you see on social media, pressure from other things that you're watching or listening to. And again, the beginning is hard, but it's simple. It's hard, but it's simple. So just get crystal clear on those things that we talked about. If you're not sure, if you're solving a specific problem, ask other people. If you're not sure if your offer makes sense, ask other people. Put it out there, but ask other people who are not your friends or family members. Ask acquaintances, ask your friends to ask their friends if this makes sense, because your friends and your family are probably so invested in what you're doing now, or they probably heard you talk about things before, that sometimes they're not going to give you an honest answer, but they might be telling you what you want to hear. So you want to give it to somebody with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective to see if it makes sense to them, if it's clear for them. And if it's not, then you're just going to spend time tweaking it. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling like you don't know what to do, ask yourself, do you really not know what to do? Or do you know what you should be doing, but you feel overwhelmed, all the other things, all the other shoulds that you are placing on yourself? And what do you need to do to tune that out, to get space and time for yourself, to carve out and start checking things off of that list so that you can propel yourself forward? That's all I got for you this week, but I will catch you next week on No Broke Behavior Analyst. Chat soon.